Hello everyone, wanted to introduce you to this neighborhood. I've just made a simple website and I will walk you through it quickly, try not to take much time. The reason why I'm doing it this way is because in order to save on the cost of the homes, the marketing budget has been reduced. And in this time where everyone's just looking for housing, it's not hard to find people who are looking for a house. And so I'm not utilizing realtors or anything like that. It is just direct marketing to find people who may be interested. And then we will go into more expensive marketing if we see the need to do so. But as of right now, I'm keeping it simple and focusing the costs on hard costs of physical construction and land costs and things that we can't change. But I'm trying to reduce the costs everywhere I possibly can because I don't want the prices to just get overinflated like everything else. So without further ado, I'll quickly introduce myself. So my name's Joshua, that's me, and I've been building custom homes since I was 15 in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I came up to here about 7 years ago and I got a mechanical engineering degree at BYU, Idaho, and we've liked it in the area, and so we've stayed on and I've been doing custom home consulting since that. And it came to a point where people had asked me what would I would like in my custom home, and so I described it, and really it just started making more sense rather than just having one home. It came to the point where I'm like, really what I want is a home, and then I want a big space to be able to do things with, and that way my house doesn't have to be so big that it's a pain to keep clean and everything like that. And so it drove us to the idea of, well, what if I design an entire neighborhood and just do a master planned community? And that's where this came about. So I've done tons of research and I have books that I can loan you if you have questions on this type of neighborhood. This type of neighborhood is called co-housing, and it is a form of master planned community that has private space, then it also has a community space. So I'm going to walk us through kind of the thing. So I'll send you a link to this website itself, but I'm currently calling it Caritas Commons. Caritas Commons. Caritas means charity, as in brotherly love. So it is planned for the lot behind Winco. So if I click here, in Idaho Falls, this is Winco right here. Directly behind Winco is this lot. It is 2.77 acres. And what I propose to do is put this community on top of it. I pushed the wrong button. There we go. And so the community is 15 homes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. And then they share a community building and a greenhouse and a pavilion. Okay, so this kind of gives us an idea, but I'm using this screen just so I can highlight things quickly. This is the roadway coming in, so this is all paved. And it actually uses something called True Grid. It's a permeable pavement, so it's not asphalt, because you have to worry about more stormwater issues and fixing asphalt over time. I'm using something that's actually more durable than asphalt and less cost. Then each home has their own private yard and then their house, and they all have a front porch, and those front porches all surround the common walkway. So we have house, front porch, common walkway. Okay, and that's how everything kind of works and functions close together. And so everyone has their own private porch area, and then it opens up into this green space. This whole green space is basically a giant grass field. And this here, to give you some scale, is a full-size volleyball court. This is a youth-sized soccer field. This is a youth-sized hockey arena. And those are all planned to be lined in the middle of the neighborhood. So we'll have trees dotting the exterior to give fruit trees and make it an orchard, and there'll be trees in yards and things like that, and bushes and lots of greenery. I think greenery really makes the neighborhood. Then over here is a playground, this amoeba shape here. So this would be playground space, and then this is a covered pavilion. Over here in the corner is a green meditative garden space. Okay, I'm going to switch views here. So if we go to the website, if we go to community site plan, it draws all that out quickly. Okay, so basically what I just explained. On the outside of the community building is an outdoor court. This is a pickleball court, as well as there will be a basketball hoop for a basketball court. Parking lots. This is what I'm calling the fuel shed, but really it's the community shed for anything that's flammable or hazardous, things like that we don't want to store in the community building. So all fuels, paints, things of that nature will be stored in here. And then there's parking all along the north side of the building. And then we'll have private road access coming into here. So now I'm going to go back and forth a little bit, showing the things from the site plan to there. So along this southern border and along this wall here, and then jumping across and coming across here, will be a concrete dividing wall. And I believe it's in amenities. So something attractive like this, 6 feet tall, and it'll go the entire way of the neighborhood. Maybe I'll duplicate this page real quick. That way I can go back and forth. So that concrete dividing wall will go from here all the way over to here, and then from here all the way over to here. And so it screens at the entry right here, and keeps it all nice and contained in this own little neighborhood. On this side of the neighborhood is a 6 foot tall chain link fence, and this chain link fence borders this green space, which as far as I can tell is owned by the power company and is should be held in perpetuity and just remain green space. Then there's a gate through this, a walking gate from this side to this side. And so this is also a really nice feature to have that way, that no one is ever planned on building on the western side. And so the sunset view should always be available through here. Spaces over here in the future. Ideally, I would love to, if this neighborhood goes through, I would like to do one more set of houses right here as a small sister community to this community. But if that doesn't happen, these 4 lots right here are located here, are designed for small commercial enterprises. The nearest one I think is O'Reilly's, but similar stores or things could pop up there. It's a relatively quiet street because it's the back side of Winco, and most people don't come back here. let's keep diving through the amenities portion of the house now, of the neighborhood. So now I have to reiterate this because I always get people asking me, when can we move in? Is this ready? Can I come see it? The answer is no. This does not exist yet. This is planned development. So there are no available buildings to walk through and see. Okay, because that would be just too convenient. In the community building, we have several amenities. These amenities are designed to build community as well as serve as the reasons why you would want to build and live in this neighborhood. The basic premise is, rather than everyone having their big house and their 2 guest bedrooms and a basement full of stuff that you don't get to use very often but you're still spending a whole ton of money on, and a whole half-acre of land to care for and maintain all by yourself, which to me that doesn't sound appealing. I already work 12 hours a day, so it doesn't make sense for me to work 12 hours a day, come home, and then have to work more on my house, a whole ton. It'd be better if I could share the load amongst other people. And so what happens is we have our private space, and then we have our shared space. And so everyone basically ends up with this much space, and this simply happens to be divided by 15 or amongst 15 people, which is very ample for that many people. In fact, most people criticize, saying, well, why do you have so much stuff for so few people? Well, that's because I like having really nice things. So every family basically gets that plus that. So that stays in common. Let's see. Okay, so in that community building are a whole ton of things. Let me go to community building itself. So on the first floor of the community building, there are garages on the north side. So every house of the 12 standard sized houses have a garage. These garages are 12 feet wide and 30 feet deep. That is big enough for a single car, and then bike storage and or other storage. These have a door that opens from the garage through this into this hallway into this main area. We also have a wood shop that will have power tools and everything, and then we'll also have auto mechanic tools and things like that. And we have a garage door bay, so if anyone needs to work on their vehicles, they can pull it in, work on it, things like that. We have an indoor sports court. This is a pickleball court, to give you an idea, but it also serves for volleyball, basketball, dance, what have you. We have a indoor water aquatic center. We have a hot tub, a pool, we have a 3/4 bath, and a sauna, all in there. We have a playroom. We have a gym. And this gym, about the good size of a good sized hotel gym. This is the dining and rec room. So basically in this room, there'll be ping pong tables, pool tables, air hockey tables, foosball tables, card tables, that sort of thing. And then they'll have lids that go on top that serve as dining room tables. And this is a community kitchen for preparing large group meals. And then this is the community garage. This will serve the tractor and things that service the community and to help maintain everything. And then we have an internal fireplace. That's a gas fireplace to serve this area. And we have a wood burning fire pit outside to service the exterior. So we'll go through and look at some idea pictures on these. So this is a kind of an idea of a community kitchen and lounge area. The hot tub pool will look similar to that. Indoor pickleball court, about that size. That's kind of the size we're looking at. Workshop, similar size. This is actually a little bit smaller, judging by this picture. This is probably 20 by 30. The one we'll have is closer to 30 by 30. Craft room, same idea. It'll have tables and work craft areas. I'd love to have some sergers and a long arm quilting machine if that's of interest to the community, and various other craft activities. And then a hobby room. This is actually upstairs, so I haven't talked about these two rooms yet. But this is the same size as the workshop, so about 30 by 30, and it'd be basically an assembly crafts room. We have a theater room upstairs as well. Then we have a playroom, and then we have a large greenhouse which spans the entire back side of that big building. It's 170 feet long and 20 feet deep. In the community kitchen, it is a commercial grade kitchen that services so the whole community can eat meals together. And this is how the dining room rec room would function. We'd have chairs, and then we'd have the tables with lids. Workout gym, that's about the size, and we could furnish it however we saw it needed. The large wood court would be, it's about 30 by 60 to give you an idea, and it'll be a cushioned wood floor, so it's better for dance, things like that. The middle area is about a 1/4 acre large, so this is probably a little bit too big for the idea, but this is the premise. Large trees or fruit trees surrounding the perimeter, and then open field in the middle. Then the community playground as well. And I think a lot of this is upstairs, so we'll go to the upstairs for a second. So if you go upstairs, that brings us to here. At the top of the stairs is a craft room, the theater room, and the Tinker Maker workspace, and we have a library, office, and lounge space. Off of this library and office lounge space are 2 guest bedrooms. This is important because the homes themselves are not terribly big. Generally speaking, they're 3-bed, 2-bath. I'll show you in a minute. These guest bedrooms serve to be able to be guest bedrooms for when family comes in town, you have a guest bedroom. But you don't always have family in town, so there's no need for you to maintain a guest bedroom all on your own house. So we share the guest bedrooms, and we reserve them, and we share them amongst ourselves. And this 3/4 bath services these guest bedrooms. One really nice benefit that I am really looking forward to myself are these rooms here. So in addition to the garage down in the first floor, above your garage you get a 12 by 30 flex room. This room is just for whatever you want it to be. There are a few limitations. You can't rent it out. You can't rent it out for someone to live in, and you can't live in it yourself. And you can't do anything of flammable caustic nature. You can't be welding in these rooms and things like that. But beyond that, and there will be a few other guidelines that we may come up with, but generally speaking, these rooms are for your use to do what you will. So if you want to run a massage therapy clinic, great, fine by me, and that works just fine. Or if you just want to store your giant comic book collection, that's fine too. Whatever you want to use those for, it's your flex room. In the basement, so there's a set of stairs right here dividing the kitchen. It's not drawn in yet, but you go down the set of stairs, and this is currently not entirely, we'll have to see where this lands. We want this to happen, but this depends on budgets and final pricing. But the plan is currently to include this because we think it's an important thing to include. So you come down the stairs, there's a community washer and dryer, which services the 3 tiny homes because they don't have washer and dryers in unit, as well as if anyone's washer dryer breaks or they don't want to have their own, this is there for their use. And then this space here is for everyone to have as food storage. So the ideal situation is that this room could be populated with chest freezers, with a chest freezer for each house, and this serves as basically your garage chest freezer. And then in here as well is another food storage room for an emergency stove and a 3/4 bath. The interesting place about everything down here is that this is all under a concrete ceiling. So this is a certified safe room environment. It's entirely encased in concrete. So if there was ever anything catastrophic happening, this is a safe room shelter. And it has an emergency stove, and each household would have a designated space for their food storage. And there's a 3/4 bath down there, as well as there will be a small countertop with like a hot plate for cooking. So in case anything went crazy, this whole basement serves as a long-term survival shelter. Also in the basement is a space for storage as well. This space could be used for aquaponics. It could house fish tanks of tilapia, or it could be a shooting range for short range shooting. It could be just more storage, whatever the community decides it needs to be. And then underneath here as well is the mechanical room for the pool, and then this is the pool foundation, and hot tub would be there. So that kind of gives you an idea. We'll go back to some pictures. Library and office lounge, something like that. Guest bedrooms, simple, queen beds, 2 nightstands, basic rooms. Your flex rooms could be whatever you want it to be. It's just 12 by 30, and it'll have a window on the far side. The food storage room this is kind of how I imagine it. It's each family has their own designated shelf system, and we could allot that however we deemed fit. A community laundry setup, possibly an indoor shooting range, something to that effect, or it could be simply storage or tilapia grow tanks or something. We'll have covered parking on the north side of the building. Let's show you that. So right here, this is all carport parking, as well as right here. There'd be a fire pit and barbecue pavilion. That'd be right here. So fire pit is right here, and then the pavilion's right here. And so this would be a great place for community grills or whatever, with the playground and the grass field. Solar power. The entire community is designed to be solar powered. And rather than having each individual have solar panels on their rooftop, all the solar panels are banked on the top of this community building, and they are all maintained and then routed to the individual homes. And that way the community building pays for itself, as well as all the community properties. That's all built in. Solar is included in the current price structure. We want a calming green garden space. That is what this space is right here. So this will have like a large oak tree, some large, maybe like a large pine tree, serving kind of like a community Christmas tree sort of thing, but then it's just several other trees, and just make this really green with a walking space, and try to make it look really attractive, something like that. So that is the main premise of the community building. So as you go through, I'm not going to go through all of these because you can go through this kind of on your own with the website, but the design and elements, these are some of the principles that have guided this design. The benefits, you're going to have to imagine your own benefits. These are the ones that came to mind for me. Personally, I think it's great to be able to live in a neighborhood with friends. This is a particular thing that you won't typically find other places. The idea of community meals. This neighborhood is planning to have meals twice a week, and you don't require to come to these, obviously. It's your own choice, but in order to grow the community and develop the culture of the community, it's encouraged for people to attend community meals, and everyone takes turns cooking and cleaning and hanging out and getting together, which is why in the buildings themselves we have the space for it, why we have space to eat these community meals. You'll actually use the gym if you have people who you like around you and your gym is nearby. ideally, we don't just have all the same. Hopefully, it won't just be starter families, and hopefully, it won't just be retirees. I believe there's a great benefit in having intergenerational blending, and so to have de facto grandparents and aunts and uncles in the neighborhood who you all know and trust and work from. So far in the neighborhood, we have planned for a few young couples who've have expressed some serious interest, and we also have a few retiring couples who have expressed some serious interest. And so right now, this is working perfectly just by nature of people coming to it. For people who have at-home work, this is a perfect opportunity for them because you get an off-site, basically that's on-site office. So you can designate and make distinct your home from your office, but still be on-site. The homes are extremely energy efficient. I'll talk about this in a minute because this is a point of particular interest to what I have done for my whole life. And you share responsibility. Rather than having to take care of all of those amenities, half acre all by yourself, it's shared, and so the load is lightened through a lot of it. And you can get the benefits of having your $2 million house, but for a fraction of the cost because you share the expensive components and you only privately own those components which you manage yourself, which is your few bedrooms and the main house. Expenses. The expected HOA due is a maximum of $150. I'm hoping that this to be less. This is just to give us an idea so there's no surprises. But with the community building serving its own electrical needs and serving, so its energy should be taken care of, its maintenance will hopefully be rather minimal as far as expenses go because we're not hiring it out, it's community managed. There's several things. This should not be, this is on the high side. Most of it is going toward the reserve fund as a just for, it's a good idea to save as much as you can. So most of this is all in savings for upgrades or for remodeling. And then for those who don't have 20% down, which this may not apply for most of those because to get into this neighborhood we may require 15 to 20% down to fund the initial capital outlay, so that this may not apply to you. But for those who for whatever reason don't have this much equity, you'll have that to account for. Homeowners insurance should be no more than 170. However, this is obviously variable. Property taxes similar. Some of the, it depends on what the city values them at and then the tax base, but that gives you an idea. Utilities, this includes the internet, so that's the reason it's so high. Most of the utilities on these homes will probably be less than $20 a month because the solar panels and the way they're heated and cooled is extraordinarily low. Most of these homes, the goal is for them to be nearly net zero, if not net zero energy homes. So all of that added together, it's about $2,300 a month. And then with community meals, I've budgeted at basically $4 an adult and $2 a child under 8. So that would be the community meals per week, which I think is pretty reasonable to have high quality home cooked meals twice a week for the month, and you just share responsibilities going through it. But feel free to look through that more. Now the homes. Okay, the homes themselves are 25 feet by 57 feet on the exterior. On the interior they are 23 feet 0.4 by 55.4 feet. And they all have a covered porch that is 8 feet by 16 feet. Within this dimension, where a homeowner decides to put their doors, windows, or they move the porch left or right, that's all variable. Where they want to put their rooms all variable. They can kind of mix it around. The important part for the development is that the exterior footprint matches. Again, you can also go up, you can also go down, you can also go partially up or down. Okay, so within this footprint you have some availability. Here are some ideas. This is my personal design for my personal house that will be in the neighborhood. We have a covered porch, door, we have a half bath up front to service basically the front half of the house and guests. We have a desk space, a living room, bedroom, office and a nursery, a bedroom and a master bedroom, and then we have the dining room and the kitchen. Lots of cabinets and countertop space. I'm very big on that. We also have the washer and dryer and the mechanical closet there. We have a large 6-foot jacuzzi tub and the bathroom. And then we actually have a shower that's standalone in the master bedroom as well. So we have 2 showers and 2 bathrooms, but they don't share the same rooms. And then we have closets. So that's the basic premise. And in the model I plan to build, I will also have an upstairs that is an attic truss. So inside the trusses is a room for this portion of the house, and it'll be accessed through stairs on the back of the house, and this will be rented out as a studio apartment. That is basically just like that. This is another option that we've come up with. It has the bedrooms over here, master over here, things like this. This entrance was designed initially with a side entrance, so there'd have to be some modification here, unless there is any. So we'd have to figure out if this plan would have to be adjusted, because currently there are no side entrance models. But there's another idea. Here's another idea. It's not sized accurately, it's close, so it would just take a little bit of fudging to get it to the right space, but this one has all the bedrooms over here, dining and kitchen, and then all the living space up here. So, but again, what you do in the middle is up to you. Here is another version. This one is door, living room, kitchen, dining, bedrooms, bedroom, and master. So this is a whole master suite is this section. So, and there's that option. And then if you notice the site plan, there are 3 tiny homes. Go there real quick. So we have those 12 homes, and then we have these 3 tiny homes. Those tiny homes are 10-foot by 35-foot interior, and they could be with lofted space or single story, but those ones are expected to be about 150,000. So most of the homes that are single story like this one are planned to be in the 260 range. If you were to add a basement, you're looking to like 290, 300. If you add an upstairs, like a partial upstairs, you're actually, if you add a basement, you're probably looking at closer to 310. But if you add a partial upstairs, you're probably looking closer to 290 if you were to finish it out. If you add a full upstairs of attic trusses, you're probably looking, so if you sent the attic trusses all the way across, you're probably looking somewhere around 310, 315. If you did 2 full stories with basement or a top story, then you're looking into 340, 360. So, and if you went up and down, obviously more than that. So, so it really just depends on what you're trying to achieve. That way, about half of the homes would be open to having a secondary rental property on them. We're going to run out of space parking wise if all of these had a secondary unit, but if we accounted for about half of these to have a secondary unit, so there's 18 housing units, and then these 3 here to make 21 housing units, between this parking, and garage parking, this should satisfy it fairly well. But I don't think we'd be able to get more than about 6 of these to have double units. Okay, now we're going to go over the construction methods. So my background is in custom home construction. Generally speaking, the homes I built were $750,000, and I can show you some of the houses I'm working on currently and building to show you kind of the projects that I'm used to working on. And I've taken my mechanical engineering optimization ideas and I've brought them to the home market. And so what I've done is I've streamlined a way to build extremely well-made homes, the homes that I would typically build for very, very high-end homes, or moderately high-end. And I'm simplifying it and using the same technology but on a different mixed scale. Again, this is about using resources more wisely to get more bang for your buck, is really what we're trying to achieve here. So I'm not going to go through all this because there's a lot of it, but I'll go quickly. I use Icf Construction. This is extraordinarily insulative and soundproof. Very smart. And right now with lumber prices, this makes it more economical too. We use simple roof planes because no one needs this, and it just adds a bunch of extra expense. All the homes are heated with radiant floor heating and cooled if desired with a mini split system. I don't use shingles and I don't have roof penetrations whatsoever. All my penetrations are planned so that they do not come through my roof. I handle that another way. So the roofs are a clean standing seam metal roof which should last decades without failure or having any issues, and they're more attractive than this rat's nest. I use European tilt-turn windows. They're more airtight, they're triple glazed, they have an R7 insulation value, which is twice as much as most people use for their windows, and they're highly functional. We can over insulate if you desire to get even more energy efficient. We do an airtight attic insulation. Most people don't do this, and so they lose a ton of heat out of their roof. We save that. The homes are designed to be zero entry, so they're all ADA compliant, as well as the community building. We use fiber cement siding, so it looks something like this, or you could do something like this with a stonework on bottom, or you can do vertical siding, things like that. It can be smart side or fiber cement. They last a long time. I really prefer not to do vinyl because I think it looks chintzy, and excessive stonework costs a lot of money, but if that's what you want, you can totally do it. So the options are available. The most cost-effective, long-lasting floor system is a stained concrete floor. They're extraordinarily durable and they look really nice, I think, and they're very comfortable because it's all heated. All the homes will have LED lighting, so they're extremely low power consumption as well as variable cooling, light colors and temperatures. The homes have an HRV, which is an air purification system. Because the homes are so airtight, it has to have its own mechanical lung. You can read more into that, but basically this is what I specialize in, is high energy performance homes. Most of the homes are designed to be slab on grade because digging a hole costs more than building a pole. Okay, so we simply scratch the surface and we only go down about a foot, and we put the house right there on a slab on grade with a frost protected shallow foundation, and then this all has heated floor, and then there's insulation underneath the entire house. Ideally, we'll plant trees on the south side of buildings so the deciduous trees provide shade in the summer and the sun passes through in the winter. And a few options of awnings also exist to increase shading. Where possible, we'll either use bushes, trees, or wall screening systems, so where the houses are relatively close together, you're not simply looking in window to window. but that's actually not as big a deal as most people would think, because people have invented plantation shutters, blinds, and curtains for a reason. So the attics are dumped full of cellulose. R7, R60, R70 is my recommendation. We have extreme soffit venting. We have raised heels on trusses. This prevents ice damming, and we have that airtight foam sealed ceiling. So this is an extraordinarily long-lasting, durable, energy efficient roof system. The house is run off of a simple system like this. This is a tankless water heater, which services all the domestic hot water as well as heats the entire in-floor heat system all in one. The mechanical room is very small as well as energy efficient. We use European cabinetry because you get more space and it's much more versatile to add drawers and things like that. Very robust, can handle concrete countertops, which is what I plan on putting in my house and several of them. But you could also opt for Corian, Formica, granite, marble, what have you, depending on your budgets and desire and taste. Solar panels, again, those will be on the community building. Ideally, you put the parking on the southern side of the building, but in order to get everything else to line up, the parking had to go to the north, so we may do something to help with snow melt there. I've invented a simplified bracing system. By doing the neighborhood at 12 houses at a time plus the community building, we can order in bulk pricing, and so that way we save on several things. We're not paying per house, we're paying for the neighborhood, so this is highly useful. I'm very meticulous on how we install windows because that's an important issue. You can have great windows, but if it's installed wrong, it's terrible. The blocks come in a certain size, and in order to make it go quick and easy to assemble, the houses are sized around the block, not the block around the house. So the reason why the dimensions are what they are is because I have optimized them for the materials we are using. So they're extremely fast to build, which saves a ton of money and time. Same with framing. Typically I use metal framing inside because it's straighter and it's lighter weight, and wood costs a fortune right now. But even if it didn't cost a fortune, I don't just go around wasting it. I use just as much as we need. We use 5/8 inch sheathing on the roof instead of 1/2 inch because 5/8 is better. Okay, how to qualify. This is up to your financial experts, really. But basically, read the expense sheet. Okay, if you come down here and go to expense sheet and you talk to your lenders or whoever the case may be, you're going to need to do that. We are looking for people. We're going to need at least 10 people to put down 15 to 20% down. Once we have 10 people to put 15 to 20% down, that will open us up for the private investors that I have lined up to pay for the capital outlay to build the whole neighborhood. The remaining few homes can then do traditional mortgages with the less down, but we're going to need probably at least 8, but probably 8 to 10 of those that put 15 to 20% down. And obviously if we have more, then the less down per person, but we're going to have to meet a certain thing. The neighborhood does have an HOA and CC&Rs. Obviously if it's a planned master community, most unmastered communities have these nowadays. The reason for this is to protect the culture of the neighborhood. There are some legal things that help, but mostly we want the culture to be there first. The HOA covenants are not drafted yet for this community, but there is a community called Heartwood Co-Housing, which is really fantastic. And if you go to Heartwood Co-Housing and go follow that link, it brings you to this page. Now, I'm not affiliated with them, however, they are welcome to share what they have. And because of that, they have posted all of their agreements online. This is how the neighborhood is planned to be governed. It has covenants, which are the legal thing, but in practice, they rarely refer to the covenants. Typically, the community agreements. This is really what governs the community. And then they have agreements on everything, and most everything. I've read through most of this, and it is really well done. And that is the reason why I plan on templating the neighborhoods thing off of this. But go through here, read through this, and see if this resonates with you. This is going to be probably the most important thing, because the house is really just a house. It's the community that we're building. And that's where that comes in. Okay, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. My email is jlrubybusiness@gmail.com. You can also text me and call me. I have books. I have I don't actually have my 3D model built yet. It's almost done, that I can show you. Sorry this video is a little longer, but I wanted to give you a good thorough overview of everything so you know what it is and what it is not, and to help answer your questions very thoroughly. Alright, I hope to hear from you soon, and I hope you have a great day.